Yes, guys, I'm back. I'm back with another one. We're just going to be scanning BTC today, see what's going on with it. We're also going to have a little look at total, see what's going on with that as well. Just generally seeing the overview of the crypto market. So yeah, let's get straight into this one. So BTC at the minute is struggling at this current area, which, I've had pointed out for a while now. Can go into here and have a little look. I'm just going to double check that it is recording. Yeah. So we are recording. So we're having a little look here, and what we can see is, I'll get my volume profiles up. So last week's point of controls here, where we have retested it this morning. You can see there we've retested that area. And last week's value area low is around here, what we have tested. But in my previous videos, I have pointed out that this area right here, between 94 and 97k, is a very strong selling area where, these sellers, we can have a little look on the DOM. These sellers here are rather prominent. All your buyers are around here in these 80s. We've got some more at 70s. We've got a major buy at 60 and 55. So if this cannot hold this area, these are probably going to be some significant buys. Look, 287, 290, 249, 150, 243, 260, 273, 295. They're significant buy orders. At 75, we've got 191, 103 at 70. It's not really a big one. 198 at 60. So we've got all them buy orders below us here in BTC at the minute. The sellers, they are dominantly up at the highs, 226, 175, 183, 95, 156, 72, 59, 154, 141, 125. These are fairly big orders as well in BTC at the minute. So looking at BTC, really what we want to see is we really want to see it come down into these, because there's significant orders down in here that's really going to push BTC back up towards these areas. And, just having a little look at them, this is a prominent area where there is sellers, and this is a prominent area where there is buyers at the minute. Oh, my apologies for that. So we're having a little look at these areas, and these are significant areas in BTC. Where we are right now, 100k. Well, we're not 100k, but I just mean where it was at 100k, it literally just started to drop. What's not going to be helping, I think, something to do with rate cuts in China or Japan, or I can't remember where it is. But they're doing rate hikes, so they're going to be putting the rates up. Even though America put the rates down the other week, it really didn't have a significant impact on BTC, as you can see. Excuse me. So, it's just at the minute, we're in a major range once again. Where we were previously, before, we had all this range here, and I don't know how long this range actually went for, but this range went for 61 days. And you tend to see that with BTC. You have these major ranges that go on for, 100 days, 70 days, 60 days. And this is potentially what's going to be happening here. So we've got, so far we're 28 days in. If that's 78 days, these are the ranges that we're going to be in BTC, unfortunately. Same when we were at the top of this area here, you know, that's a significant range of 115 days. And BTC tends to do this more than any other asset. It ranges until some sort of news comes out, and then people pull their orders, or they start buying or whatever. But you know, the significant zone of interest is down in here, where all the buyers are. If we get that back up and we see that drop through there, these buyers are going to be like, oops, maybe I need to start getting out. Or, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you get a lot of spoofs, and it's meant to be illegal in trading, spoof, putting spoof orders in. But it still goes on. You know, look at that, 20k, you've got 263 BTC down there. 30k, you've got 257 BTC down there. That people are willing to buy at these lower levels. Around here, like I say, these are significant orders, which is why we're going to be bouncing the way we are. You know, we're going to be bouncing up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's what creates the range before we do get a breakout of this range. So that's my thoughts on BTC. Really what I want to see is it come down back into these areas again, and we can start to build a long. Or we start to push back in towards these areas and we start to build a short. Where we are right now, we're in the chop shop, and I don't really want to be part of that chop shop at the minute. So let's also look at the total cryptocurrency market cap. I think I've got it here somewhere. It might be on my other trading view. Let me just get this up here. Trading view. Let's have a little look at total. See full chart. I've got this already marked out. So total at the minute is below a significant area. You know, we are below this 3.2 trillion area. You know, so the likelihood of it dropping towards 2.5 and 2.2 is fairly high. You know, dropping into these zones here, which then could really start to, you know, build some sort of momentum to get us back up above these areas. But where we are right now in total, you know, we're in a difficult area. You know, if we're just looking at the volume that is coming in, it is significant volume where we are. Bit similar to what we had here. You know, the volume started to diminish and then we pushed off. So we did the same here. We pushed off, the volume started to diminish into these lows, and then a load of volume came in. And it's doing exactly the same again. You know, going back to the BTC chart, we zoom in out and we actually look, you know, this is on the weekly time frame. If we look at the volume in BTC here compared to that peak in, you know, 2021, 2022, 21, 2022, look at the volume in it. The volume is not that significant. So, you know, that's one thing to bear in mind, that the volume is not that significant. If we're going to GBTC and we're actually having a little look here, you know, you can clearly see the volume is not significant in GBTC either. And that's Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. So what we really want to see is, we want to see some sort of peak in volume, like here, and then a push off, where the only peak in volume that I can see at the minute is the selling volume, you know, which is not really any sort of significant like what we had here. So we want to see this peak. We want to see the volume start to peak before we can move off. If the volume continues to diminish, then, you know, potentially we are coming lower. And I think there is a price gap down here somewhere in GBTC. So that could potentially bring us towards the gap. And then we start to go side, and then we build off from there. I'm like the rest of you. I want to see BTC do well. I really want to see BTC do well. But problem is, we really want to go into these zones, and it's just like this headline here, how 9 days refined Bitcoin ownership absorbed by institutions. So that the big boys are absorbing all these orders. So if we go back, this chart here, this here is where all the big boys are buying. The big boys are buying lower. The big boys are buying. The big boys are buying. And I'm doing something very, very similar. I'm stacking my orders all the way down here. A bit like the big boys are doing. A lot of retail are just going to be buying wherever they want to buy. So that's my thoughts on BTC. I'm not really going to go over any altcoins or up like that today, but I will at some point go onto the altcoins. But for now, we're not really in a buy zone for me. I'd really want to see that come down into here. And then I'm going to start to nibble, and a little push back up towards there. Losing that zone, that's another significant area of interest for me. It's probably going to be around 40, maybe 30K, where we can start to build. Excuse me. So that's what I'm looking at in BTC at the minute. So that's going to be it from me today. I will try and do another video at the end of the week. I'll try and have a look at some altcoins. But as we can see, a lot of these altcoins are just getting absolutely smashed to pieces. Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink. Yeah, these altcoins are getting smashed to pieces at the minute. So, it's just food for thought. Keep an eye on this. And hopefully, a move back in here can significantly see us start to push back towards that area where I will start to take some more profit. And if we're going on market structure as well, high, lower low, lower high, high, lower high, high. Is this a lower high, or are we breaking structure? If you're using market structure, I don't really use market structure. I tend to look at things like this, which is the money indicator, the volume profile, showing you where all this volume is coming in. So yeah, that's it from me today, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Don't forget, we've got all the links in the description. Buy me a coffee, Discord, and all the other links. So yeah, that's it from me, and I will catch you in the next one. Happy trading, guys.